Welcome back to Who Died Today. Over the past few days, the world has bid farewell to some truly beloved and unforgettable stars. In today's episode, we pay heartfelt tribute to these remarkable lives and the legacies they've left behind. Before we begin, we kindly ask for a moment of support. If any of these stories have moved you or reminded you of someone special, please give this video a thumbs up to honor their memory. Thank you. Number 5. James Stewart, The Last Words That Broke America's Heart Forever. He was the man who made America believe in good. The man who brought to life the everyman, the dreamer, the soldier, the friend we all needed. But that gentle voice faded into silence. Today, we remember James Stewart, not just a Hollywood icon, but a symbol of integrity, courage, and quiet strength. Please join us as we honor his remarkable journey. And if his work ever touched your heart, kindly give this video a like to help us keep his legacy alive. He once stood on a snowy bridge, broken and ready to give up. And from that moment, he gave us one of the most unforgettable roles in cinematic history. James Stewart didn't just act. He helped us feel human. Born on May 20, 1908 in Indiana, Pennsylvania, James Maitland Stewart grew up in a quiet town where his family ran a hardware store. A gifted student and artist, he found his love for music, theater, and performance while studying architecture at Princeton. But fate had other plans. Despite his tall frame and charming smile, Stewart often felt shy and unsure. He never took a formal acting class. Instead, he relied on sincerity. And after returning from World War II, those gentle eyes held stories of loss and pain few would ever know. He never spoke much of the combat missions he flew. But the trauma stayed with him, a silent weight he carried for the rest of his life. 1934, Stewart made his film debut in Art Trouble. He worked steadily as an MGM contract actor. 1938, breakthrough with Frank Capra's You Can't Take It With You. 1939, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington earned him his first Oscar nomination. 1940, won the Academy Award for Best Actor in The Philadelphia Story. 1946, gave his most iconic performance in It's a Wonderful Life. 1950s, 60s, reinvented himself in darker, complex roles with Hitchcock's Rear Window, Vertigo, and westerns like Winchester 73 and The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. 1985, received an honorary Oscar, stating, "This is the greatest award I've received. To know that, after all these years, I haven't been forgotten." In a rare interview, he once said, "Sometimes I wonder if I'm doing a Jimmy Stewart imitation myself." But to us, he was always genuine, never pretending, just being. In his final years, Stewart battled declining health, including heart issues and grief after the loss of his beloved wife Gloria in 1994. His last years were marked by solitude. Some say he never fully recovered from her passing. On July 2, 1997, James Stewart passed away at the age of 89 at his home in Beverly Hills. A blood clot had formed in his leg and led to a pulmonary embolism. Surrounded by family, his last words were quiet. "I'm going to be with Gloria now." Over 3,000 mourners gathered to say goodbye, from stars to fans to soldiers who'd flown under his command. Steven Spielberg called Stewart the soul of America. Burt Reynolds once said, "He was more than an actor. He was every man you wished you could be." James Stewart wasn't just a movie star. He was a war hero, a loyal husband, and the moral compass of Hollywood. His portrayal of George Bailey still brings families together every Christmas. His voice, soft, stuttering, sincere, became the sound of truth in a world that often forgets it. There's a moment at the end of It's a Wonderful Life where the townspeople gather, singing, crying, grateful. That scene wasn't fiction. That was James Stewart's life, filled with people who loved him, whose lives he changed, simply by showing up, year after year, as himself. If he ever made you smile, if you've ever heard, "Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings," leave a comment below. And please, like, subscribe, and share this tribute, so that in every corner of the world, someone still hears his voice and remembers what it meant. He was our everyman, and we miss him every day. Number 4. Ronnie Coleman, the legend who fell silent until now. The room falls quiet. The weights that once clanged with thunder now sit untouched. The voice that roared, "Lightweight, baby," is suddenly silent. And for a moment, it felt like the world lost more than a champion. It felt like we were about to say goodbye to Ronnie Coleman. But this isn't a farewell. Not yet. This is a moment to remember, to reflect, and to pray. Ronnie Coleman, the 8-time Mr. Olympia, a man who stood taller than giants in the world of bodybuilding, has been hospitalized with a serious medical condition. And now we wait together, hoping that the man made of iron still has more strength left in him. There was a time when the gym trembled under his presence. When Ronnie Coleman walked in, it wasn't just muscles that filled the room. It was heart, grit, discipline, the fire of a warrior who refused to quit. He didn't just lift weight. He lifted people's spirits. He became the very definition of greatness, and then he paid the price for it, one surgery at a time. Ronnie Dean Coleman was born on May 13, 1964, in Monroe, Louisiana. Before the spotlight, before the fame, he was just a hard-working young man with a dream, playing football at Grambling State University under the legendary Eddie Robinson, never imagining the iron path his life would take. He took a job as a police officer, humble, honest, grounded. And yet, in the quiet corners of the gym, something greater was building. In 1990, he began competing. By 1998, he ruled the world. 8 consecutive Mr. Olympia titles, 26 IFBB championships, records shattered, standards rewritten. And through it all, that infectious energy, "Yeah, buddy, ain't nothing but a peanut." Words that made pain look like joy, words that made legends feel human. But behind the roar was a man who broke for the dream. Spinal surgeries, hip replacements, chronic pain. He could barely walk, but he never stopped smiling. He never stopped trying. He once said, "I will die before I quit." Ronnie has been hospitalized with a serious condition. The details remain private. His family asks for prayers, not speculation. But they assure us he's fighting. Because that's what Ronnie Coleman does. Ronnie wasn't just a bodybuilder. He was hope in human form. A policeman who became a god of muscle. A man who pushed through agony and still gave us laughter, light, and legacy. So no, this isn't goodbye. This is a pause. A moment to gather strength, not just for Ronnie, but from him. Because if he's taught us anything, it's that the human spirit is unbreakable. If Ronnie Coleman ever inspired you to be stronger, to fight harder, to believe more fiercely, leave your prayers and thoughts in the comments. Like this video to show your support, and subscribe to keep his story alive, because legends like him don't fade. They rest, they recover, and then they rise again. Get well soon, Ronnie. The iron still waits, and so do we. Number 3. Michael Cimino, the filmmaker who rose too fast and fell even harder. He climbed to Hollywood's summit with one masterpiece, then watched his empire crumble with the next. The man who gave us The Deer Hunter became the cautionary tale that killed the director era. Today, we remember the tragic brilliance of Michael Cimino, a man who dared to dream beyond what Hollywood could handle. If you've ever been moved by The Deer Hunter, please give this video a like to honor a filmmaker who gave everything to his art. Born February 3, 1939 in New York City, Cimino studied painting at Yale before finding his calling in film. After directing commercials and co-writing Dirty Harry, Clint Eastwood gave him his break with Thunderbolt and Lightfoot. Then came 1978's The Deer Hunter, a haunting Vietnam War masterpiece that won 5 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Director. Cimino became cinema's golden boy, the new Kubrick. But triumph carried a price. Flush with success, Cimino poured everything into Heaven's Gate. The budget exploded. The shoot ran months over. When it premiered in 1980, critics savaged it. Audiences walked out. United Artists collapsed. Hollywood had found its scapegoat. Blamed for the industry's troubles, Cimino was exiled. His later films, Year of the Dragon, The Sicilian, bore his unmistakable touch, but found no forgiveness. He retreated to France, where he was honored as a misunderstood genius. On July 2, 2016, Michael Cimino passed away in Los Angeles at 77. The cause was never disclosed. Today, The Deer Hunter is in the National Film Registry. Heaven's Gate, once derided, is now hailed as a masterpiece. He once said, "I don't make movies to make a point. I make movies to tell stories about people." In doing so, he told the story of a nation. Rest gently, Michael. You told the story, even when it cost you everything. Share your thoughts below and subscribe for more tributes to cinema's forgotten visionaries. Number 2. Goodbye, Deputy Cletus Rick Hurst's final sign-off breaks America's heart. He made us laugh without trying. He wore a badge not for power, but for kindness. And now, that badge rests forever. Rick Hurst, the beloved actor behind Deputy Cletus Hogg from The Dukes of Hazzard, has passed away at age 79. And the world feels just a little less warm without him. If you ever smiled because of Cletus, please like this video to help keep Rick's memory alive. Born on January 1, 1946, in Houston, Texas, Rick had that rare gift. He could make you feel like family. His early TV work included Sanford and Son, Happy Days, and MASH. But everything changed in 1979. That's when America met Cletus Hogg, Boss Hogg's lovable cousin, in 55 unforgettable episodes of The Dukes of Hazzard. With wide eyes and an even wider heart, Rick made Cletus more than a sidekick. He made him iconic. Rick continued to shine in shows like The Wonder Years, Family Matters, and films like Steel Magnolias and Karate Kid 3. But fans always remembered the deputy with a big grin and a bigger heart. Rick was a proud father to 2 sons, including Ryan Hurst of Sons of Anarchy. And to every fan he met, he offered nothing but kindness. The sirens are silent now, but his laughter echoes on. Rest easy, Deputy. You were one of the good ones. Tell us your favorite Rick Hurst moment in the comments. Subscribe to honor more legends who shaped our hearts. Number 1. Jessica Camacho. A goodbye we're not ready to give. Breaking news. Today, we take a heartfelt look at the astonishing journey of Jessica Camacho. She's played heroes, fighters, and protectors on screen, but her most powerful role may just be the one she's living off-camera. For years, she brought fierce strength to our screens, but behind that strength was something quieter, deeper. A story of fear, of faith, of fighting forward when the world isn't watching. Now, after a quiet period away from the spotlight, Jessica Camacho is back. And this time, she's not just performing, she's opening up, truthfully, vulnerably, courageously. What role made you fall in love with Jessica Camacho's work? Was it Gypsy, Emily Lopez, or something else? Tell us in the comments below. This isn't just a comeback story. It's a tribute to resilience, to living with fear and still choosing light. Jessica Camacho was born on November 26, 1982, in California and raised in the bold and gritty city of Chicago. She wasn't raised for fame, but she was born with fire. She discovered acting almost by accident, through a friend's suggestion to take a class. That class changed everything. Jessica soon moved to San Francisco, studied at the American Conservatory Theater, and waited tables at night to fund her dreams. Every line she ever spoke on stage was earned. Her breakthrough came through small but steady roles. She worked her way up, audition after audition, until she landed recurring spots on Sleepy Hollow, Last Resort, and Taken. But it was her performance as Gypsy in The Flash that turned her into a fan favorite. A multi-dimensional bounty hunter with power and soul. And then she gave us something even deeper, the firebrand public defender Emily Lopez in All Rise. A role built on justice, vulnerability, and raw emotion. Critics called her a quiet force of nature. Fans called her the first character who made me feel seen. And Jessica just called herself grateful. But behind the camera, the path wasn't easy. Jessica dealt with long periods of self-doubt, rejection, and what she once described to a friend as a quiet, relentless anxiety. In a rare, private moment, she confided, "I don't walk into auditions thinking I'll win. I walk in hoping I can survive it." It wasn't weakness. It was honesty. And now, after a break from television, Jessica is returning in a new, emotionally charged project she describes as the most vulnerable work I've ever done. She's partnering with an independent studio on a drama that's still under wraps, but insiders say her performance is already being called career-defining. Jessica said in a recent post, "This role terrifies me, but I'm doing it anyway, because fear doesn't get to write my story. I do." She listens to grounding music between takes, studies her lines alone in nature, and reminds herself daily, "I belong here. I've earned this." Even today, Jessica admits the fear hasn't vanished. She still battles anxiety, still questions if she's enough. She once said, "My eyes never lie. You can always see the fear in them." But she keeps showing up, not without fear, but through it. And that's why today's story isn't about goodbye. It's about presence. It's about a woman who has carried 1,000 stories on her back and is still writing her own. Jessica Camacho is alive. She is healing. She is working. She's not pretending to be fearless. She's showing us what true courage really looks like. So today, we honor her, not for how perfectly she plays her roles, but for how bravely she lives her truth. Which of Jessica's characters moved you the most? What part of her real-life story speaks to your heart? Share below. Keep Jessica Camacho in your thoughts, not because we've lost her, but because she is here, still giving, still glowing, still showing up. Jessica, thank you for your courage, for your voice, for reminding us all it's okay to be scared and still rise. Like, comment, and share this video to keep her story shining bright for the world and for every soul who sees themselves in her journey. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Feel free to share your memories or favorite moments about these icons in the comments below. And if this tribute touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe for more emotional stories that celebrate the lives of those who will never be forgotten.